Namaste dear students, welcome to our YouTube channel Master Physics Academy. By learning physics here, you will master physics. Happy learning, ಒಳ್ಳೆಯದಾಗಲಿ, ಶುಭವಾಗಲಿ. A equiangular glass prism of refractive index 1.6 is kept fully immersed in water of refractive index 4/3 for a certain ray of monochromatic light. What is the closest value for the angle of minimum deviation of the light ray in this setup? Take sin 37 degree equals 0.6. Here the prism is given as equiangular prism. That means the prism is equilateral. Therefore, the angle of prism is equal to 60 degree. The expression for refractive index of material of the prism, what do we know about it is, it is given by sin of a plus d divided by 2 whole divided by sin of a by 2. But small change we need to make in this formula. This formula has been derived in the case the surrounding medium of the prism is air. But now this is going to be water. Therefore, the formula has to be changed. It is not N now, it is going to be N to 1, or I can say NGW, because we know the materials which is surrounding and which is the material of the prism. So what is NGW? It is going to be refractive index of the prism with respect to the surrounding, which is water. Okay, and again, what do we know about NGW is Ng divided by Nw. Okay, so let us substitute now. Ng is given as 1.6. 1.6 means it is going to be 16 by 10. 16 by 10 means it is going to be 8 by 5, right? So 8 by 5 is 1.6. Just to make calculation little easy, I have written this way. 8 by 5 is 1.6. So whole divided by the refractive index of the water, that is 4 by 3. Okay. So that will be equal to sin of a plus d divided by 2 whole divided by sin of a by 2, that is sin of 60 degree divided by 2. Sin 30 degree it will be, sin 30 degree will be equal to 1 by 2, right? Now, so this is going to imply that 8 by 5 into 3 by 4 will be equal to 1 by 2 means in the denominator. So 2 will go to the numerator. So we have 2 into sin of a plus d divided by 2. Now for 1 time, for 2 time is 8. 2 and 2 get cancelled from LHS and RHS. So 3 by 5. 3 by 5 is 0.6. So 0.6 is equal to sin of a plus d divided by 2. So but it is given in the numerical that 0.6 is equal to sin 37 degree. So this implies that sin 37 degree is equal to sin of a plus d divided by 2. So that means 37 degree will be equal to a plus d divided by 2. Now we know the value of a, and 2 times 37 degree. 2 times 37 degree is 74 is equal to 60 plus d, right? So therefore d will be equal to 14 degree, which is mentioned in option B. The diagram shows barrel of weight 1 into 10 to the power 3 Newton on a frictionless slope inclined at 30 degree to the horizontal. The force is parallel to the slope. What is the work done in moving the barrel a distance of 5 meter up the slope? Actually, this question is easier than it appears. Okay, so there is no frictional force. That is one happiest thing I can say. So we are pulling this body, so there won't be any rotation at all because there is no frictional force here. Hence, it will be just a sliding. Okay, don't think it will be linked to rotational motion of that barrel. Nothing like that. Okay, so the thing here you need to know is it has moved up by a distance, say yes. Okay, it is given, right? It is given as 5 meter, right? Okay, so it will be moved up by distance equal to 5 meter. Let me erase that. Okay, so it's not a straight line. So it has been moved with a distance equal to 5 meter up the hill. So we need to check what height it has been raised. To what height it has been raised, that we need to check. That for that reason we can use trigonometry concept. The angle of inclination is given as 30°. So what we know is hypotenuse here. So hypotenuse times sin 30° will be equal to opposite side. So h is equal to hypotenuse times sin 30°. So sin 30° is 1 by 2. So the height to which we are going to raise that barrel will be equal to 2.5 meters. So that means the work what we are doing is used to increase the potential energy of the body. So which is going to be m into g into h. So m is not given directly, but mg is given. Okay, so weight is directly given. So it is going to be 10 power 3, 1 into 10 power 3 into height. So height is 2.5 meter. So multiplying these two, we will be getting 2.5 into 10 to the power 3 joules. So that is the change in potential energy, which is nothing but the work done on the barrel. So option which we need to pick here is option A. All lights are switched off except for a bright point light source kept at the bottom of a swimming pool filled with clear water of refractive index 4 by 3. As a result, only a circular patch of 6 meter diameter of the water surface is visible to spectators standing around the swimming pool. Which of the following gives the nearest value of the depth of the pool? Here, let us consider this are the surface of the swimming pool. Let us name that as AB. We do have a point source of light, say O, which is situated at the bottom of the swimming pool. A ray which is coming out of this light source and being incident on the surface AB normally will go undeviated and will reach the eyes of the spectators. Another ray, say for example, ray OP, which is incident at an angle of incident equal to critical angle for the given pair of media. It will just grazes the surface of the swimming pool, and let us suppose this is also going to reach the spectator's eye. But any other ray which is incident beyond this point P will be having angle of incidence greater than critical angle, and hence they undergo TIR, that is total internal reflection, and they are not going to the eyes of the spectators. So what spectator sees is the rays which are only incident between this O dash and P. On the other side also they are going to be seeing the same pattern. Okay, so what they see is a circular patch on the swimming pool with radius equal to O dash P. Here the diameter is given as 6 meter, hence this O dash P will be the radius of that, which will be equal to 3 meter. Now from the TIR concept, we know that sine of critical angle is equal to reciprocal of refractive index of the denser medium with respect to the rarer medium. Here the rarer medium is obviously air, hence I am just writing this as 1 divided by n. Okay, so therefore sin C will be equal to 1 by n is given as 4 by 3, hence 1 by n will be 3 by 4. Now we shall consider a triangle. Okay, sin C is known to us. Let this angle be C. So the ratios of sides of the triangle will be this way. Opposite will be 3 units. Hypotenuse will be equal to 4 units. Then the adjacent must be equal to, according to Pythagoras theorem, root of 4 square minus 3 square, that is root of 16 minus 9, which is root of 7. So we will be using this in future, right? So now since this angle is critical angle, this angle is also equal to C because of concept in geometry which is known to be very well known as alternative interior angles are same, right? So this angle is alternative interior angle for this angle of incidence, right? So then from the diagram, what do we have for tan C? Tan C will be equal to opposite, which is radius of the circular patch, which is 3 meter, divided by the depth O dash O. O dash O is depth of the swimming pool. So therefore D is what? D is going to be 3 divided by tan C. 3 divided by tan C. Just observe this triangle. What is tan C? It is going to be 3 divided by root 7. So 3 divided by root 7. So simplifying this, we'll get the diameter, sorry, not the diameter, uh, depth of this swimming pool as root 7. Root 7 means it is greater than 2. Okay, it is greater than 2 but less than 3. So what is the value we will be getting here is, if you look at the option, only one option is there which is going to suit this condition, which is option C. Hence option C is the right choice. A mass m is suspended from a light spring. An additional mass m added displaces the spring further by a distance x. Now the combined mass will oscillate on the spring with period. So first of all, let us evaluate the spring constant. Spring constant is given by force applied per unit elongation. So what is the force applied here? That is going to be additional weight that we are going to add divided by the displacement it is going to produce. So this is the spring constant of the spring. Then the time period of a spring is given by 2 pi root of the mass loaded divided by the spring constant. Now mass loaded is total mass, that is capital M plus small m. Therefore the total mass which is hung from the spring will be equal to M plus M. And we came to note that spring constant is given by mg, small letter m multiplied with g whole divided by x. That will go to the numerator. Hence the correct option for this question is option B. A steel wire has a length of 90 centimeter which is under a constant tension of 100 Newton. The speed of the transverse waves that can be produced in the wire will be, take the mass of the steel wire to be 6 into 10 to the power minus 3 kg. So first of all, let us evaluate the mass per unit length given by symbol mu. So which is nothing but total mass of the wire divided by total length of the wire. The total mass of the wire is given as 6 into 10 to the power minus 3 and the total length is given as 90 into 10 to the power minus 2 meters. So now upon simplification we'll be getting 1 by 15 into 10 to the power minus 1 kg per meter as the mass per unit length of the given wire. The transverse wave will be moving with a speed equal to T divided by mu whole to the power 1 by 2 on a stretched wire. So now the tension acting on the wire is given as 100 Newton divided by mass per unit length is 1 by 15 into 10 to the power minus 1 it is. So it is going to be 10 root of 15 into 10 to the power 1, that is going to be 150, right? So now solve this. So solve this, we'll be getting V equals 10 into, can I write the value of 150 as 25 into 6? This 25 root will be equal to 5, then 5 is taken out of the square root. 5 into 10 is 50 into root 6 meter per second is the final answer, which is given in option D. A 10 kg collar is attached to a spring constant 600 Newton per meter. It slides down without friction over a horizontal rod. The collar is displaced from its equilibrium position by 20 centimeter and released. What is the speed of the oscillation? Here in the question, it is not clearly mentioned that what speed they are asking about. This question is ambiguous, I can say, because the speed of the oscillating body will vary between two extreme values, that is plus a omega and minus a omega. So this question is incomplete according to my sense. So maybe grace mark should be given for this kind of a question. But thinking that they are asking a maximum value of the speed, I am going to solve it. Okay. So we need to know the angular frequency of the body under SHM, which is given by root of K divided by M, where K stands for force constant or spring constant in particular if the oscillating system is having spring and mass. Now, the value of spring constant is given as 600 Newton per meter. Let us substitute value to be equal to 600 here. Mass of the oscillating body is 10 kg. Solving this, we will be getting omega value as root of 60 radian per second. Now the V max value of a body executing SHM will be known to us by this formula, that is A omega. A, that is amplitude of oscillation, is given as 20 centimeter. In SI unit, it is going to be 0.2 meters. Omega, right now we estimated that is equal to root of 60. So both of them are in SI unit. Obviously Vmax will be in SI units only, which is meter per second. So correct option is option A. I'm going to clarify this. I have solved this numerical thinking that they are asking Vmax, but in the question nothing like that is given. A crane with a steel cable of length 11 meter and radius 2 centimeter is employed to lift a block of concrete of mass 40 tons in a building site. If the Young's modulus of steel is 2 into 10 to the power 11 Pascal, what will be roughly the increase in length of the cable while lifting the block? Take G equals 10 meter per second squared. The Young's modulus of the material of the wire is given by longitudinal stress divided by longitudinal strain. Rewriting the formula for change in length, which is delta L, we have delta L equals force acting on the wire into original length of the wire divided by area of cross section of the wire multiplied with Young's modulus. Now F can be written as mg, where m is the mass attached to the wire, g is acceleration due to gravity, so L is L. A can be written as pi r squared, where r is the radius of cross section, and y. So now let us substitute and get the value of delta L. Mass attached to the wire is 40 tons, that is 40 into 10 to the power plus 3 it is. G is 10. Length initially is 11 meter, whole divided by pi. Pi value is 3.142 into r squared. R is given as 2 centimeter. So 2 into 2 is 4. 10 power minus 2 into 10 to the power minus 2 is 10 power minus 4. So the area of cross section is 4 into 10 to the power minus 4 meter squared. And y value is given as 2 into 10 to the power 11 Pascal. Now for 1 times, for 10 times is 40. Now what is left here? 2 5s are 10. Now in the numerator we have 5 into 11, that is 55. In the denominator we have left it only 3.142. All other things are powers of 10. So let us evaluate that. So 10 into 10 power 3 is 10 power 4 into 10 power 4 into 10 power minus 11 it is. So it is going to be 55 divided by 3.142 into 10 to the power minus 3 meters. But if you look at the options, all options are given in terms of centimeter. So 10 power minus 2 meter is centimeter. Hence I can write this way. So it is going to be 5.5 divided by 3.142 into 10 power minus 2 meter, which can be written as centimeter directly. Now if you estimate the value of 5.5 divided by 3.142, you are going to get the answer equal to 1.75 centimeter. So the correct option is option C. The dimensions of 4 wires of the same material are given below, in which wire the increase in length will be maximum when the same tension is applied. So increase in length of the wire is given by force acting on the wire into original length divided by area of cross section, which I can write as pi d squared by 4 since diameter is given here, into the Young's modulus. Here the same tension is applied. That means the force applied on each wire will be same. So it is going to be constant. Since the wires are made up of same material, the Young's modulus of all the wire is going to be same. So how does the change in length depends? Is going to be directly proportional to length of the wire and square of the diameter. So for whichever wire this is going to be maximum, the change in length will be maximum. So let us find out for option A. So length is 100 centimeter. I'm not going to convert the units because in all cases it is given in terms of centimeter and diameter is given in terms of millimeter. So I'm just estimating the value, no need to convert at all. So it is going to be 100 divided by 1 squared. So that is 100 in the case of option A. In the option B, it is going to be L. L is 200 centimeter divided by diameter is 2 mm. So if you square that, it is going to be 4. So 200 divided by 4 will be equal to 50, right? So in the option C, it is 300 divided by 3 squared, that is 9. So solving this 3 3s are 9, 300 times is 300. 100 by 3 means it is going to be 33.333. So in the option D, the length is 50 centimeter divided by the diameter is 0.5. Squaring that we'll be getting 0.25. So 0.25 means 1 by 4. So it is going to be 50 into 4. 50 into 4 is equal to 200. So L by D square is maximum for option D. Hence the change in length will be maximum for the case option D, mentioned as length 50 centimeter and diameter 0.5 mm. Under a constant pressure head, the rate of flow of orderly volume flow of liquid through a capillary tube is V. If the length of the capillary is doubled and the diameter of the bore is halved, the rate of flow would become. Here, from Poiseuille's formula, we know that volume rate of flow of liquid through a narrow tube is given by pi p r power 4 divided by 8 eta L, where pi is constant whose value is 3.142, p is pressure head, that is the pressure difference between the ends of the tube, r is the radius of the cross section of the tube, 8 is again a constant, eta is coefficient of viscosity of the liquid which is flowing through the tube, L is the length of the tube. Here it is given that pressure head is going to remain same. Since the liquid is going to be same in both the cases, eta value is also going to be constant, then we need to use volume rate is directly proportional to r power 4 divided by L to solve this numerical. But instead of r power 4, I can use d power 4 because r and d, they are directly proportional to each other. That is radius and diameter, they are directly proportional to each other. In the second case, the diameter of the bore of the capillary tube is going to get reduced to half the value. Therefore, it is going to be d by 2 whole to the power 4 whole divided by length is going to get doubled. So it is 2 times L now. So solving this we will be getting 1 divided by 2 power 4 is 1 by 16 into 2, that is going to be 1 by 32 times d to the power 4 divided by L. So I can say this is going to be V divided by 32. That is the final answer which is given in option D. In an isochoric process. What is isochoric process? Volume remains same. That means change in volume will be equal to 0. Therefore, work done, which is defined as pressure into change in volume, is also going to be equal to 0. So correct option is option C, which says volume remains constant and no work is done by the system.